In the headlines, aggrieved All Progressive Congress members insist on open contest for 10th National Assembly position. ISWAP fighters kill internally displaced persons, others in Borno State. Nigerian Meteorological Agency predicts heavy rainfall, thunderstorm in northern states. And on the international scene, Sudan's rival forces agree to protect civilians but no ceasefire. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in full. We'll start with politics. Ahead of the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly in June, aggrieved members of the All Progressive Congress APC on Thursday met with the members of the party's National Working Committee NWC at the national headquarters in Abuja. In attendance are Senators Abdul Aziz Yari, Orji Kalu, Muhammad Musa and Sadiq Umar. The APC chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, National Secretary, Iyola Omisore, and National Women Leader, Betta Edu, were also present at the meeting. Addressing the NWC, Kalu, a Senate President aspirant, argued that the party should not zone the leadership of the yet-to-be-inaugurated National Assembly based on the number of votes each zone contributed to the victory of the President-elect, Bola Tinubu. Also, Yari, who presented the protest later by the aggrieved senators-elect to the APC chairman, urged the party to review the zoning formula for the purpose of justice and equity.
It's not a measurement. What you do not do today, you can do it tomorrow. We had a hurricane in our zone. Nobody could have stopped. President Buhari had 29.9% in Abia in 2019. And he has 68.7% in Abia North Senatorial District. Why he's still very proud of what we did to him. So, vote must not be the count. We need one another.
Mr. Chairman, we came to present our letter to you. We are not satisfied with the arrangements, and what we're expecting from you people is to give us a fair play.
If the president, in his wisdom, decides to support the balancing of the secularity of this country, we in the North Central, we agree to it. And what next? We should be giving our own dues. That's all we're asking.
The committee was very clear. Yes, we have received with respect the outcome of the meeting of the party leaders, comprising leadership of the Senate, leadership of the National House of Reps, and leadership of the party, the headquarters of the working committee.
Meanwhile, members-elect for the 10th National Assembly have been charged to raise the bar on legislative business as they prepare for inauguration in June. A cross-section of Benue residents who gave the charge believed that for any democracy to work, legislators must approach their lawmaking job with the seriousness it deserves. The report.
For the members of the National Assembly elect, it is a season of lobbying for the positions of leadership in both houses, while many battle with tribunal cases. But the electorates in Benue State are concerned with the legislative businesses as they state their expectations.
We are expecting that the 10th National Assembly should look at some of the key issues that Nigerians are willing to observe. There is a lot of poverty in the nation. They should target squarely on the welfare of Nigerians. Nigerian welfare is not taken into consideration. For the past, we need the 10th National Assembly to look at the welfare of Nigeria. Workers are dying. What are the issues that can make workers smile? The security is porous. What are the issues that can make the security moves on? The economy is drastically going down. What are the things that can make our economy bust? If they can situate this as lawmakers and exert influence on the executive, I feel that Nigeria will move to the greater height.
On issues that concerns Nigerians rather than self. they should make such laws that will empower institutions that will become more stronger to be able to deliver on their mandates, instead of individuals becoming more stronger than institutions, which I know is the major problem we're having in the country.
Legislate on issues such as insecurity. Give us laws that will protect the Nigerian man.
They called on the political parties to encourage ideological politics and hold those elected on their platforms accountable.
Honestly speaking, if leadership starts at this stage by a political party trying to venture into the legislative arms of governance, it means there is going to be a problem for the 10th National Assembly. So the APC as a political party should please, as a matter of urgency, deviate from legislative standard. They are not legislators. They are political parties. The National Working Committee should note that these people elected from the political party called APC are not now APC candidates. They are all for Nigerians. So if at all they venture into providing leadership, it means they have tampered with the development of the people.
The National Assembly, they said, can make or mar the country through legislation. Hence the need for the green and red chambers to be more focused on lawmaking and oversight functions on the government as well as the ministries, agencies and parastatals.
The Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal has adjourned continuation of pre-hearing in a petition filed by presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, to May 18th. Noel Sampson reports that the presidential candidate was personally in court with other party chieftains.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, accompanied by some of PDP chieftains, were in court to watch the pre-hearing proceedings. Counsel for the PDP candidate, Chris Uche, SAN, told the court that the parties in the suit have harmonized their positions on constitutional and statutory issues and document to tender in the case.
As you could see, we've settled the issues and narrowed them down to very definite constitutional and statutory issues, which we need the court to determine. We've also dealt with the issue of reconciliation and streamlining of documents. The parties have agreed to work together and report back by Tuesday on the documents so that tendering of documents will be seamlessly done. Then thirdly, which comes to this issue of the motions, you could see that we served the other parties the motion for the televising of the proceedings. They explained here that they are still in the process of filing their replies. Therefore, we could not proceed without their input. So we don't want to anticipate their response. That's why the matter and this motion and other motions have all been adjourned to Thursday next week. Definitely on Thursday, every party would have filed his replies, and then this motion, this very critical motion, which they admit is very fundamental, the hearing will take place on Thursday, the 18th day of May, 2023.
Meanwhile, Counsel for the Allied People's Movement, APM, who is also challenging the election of Bola Tinubu, Oluwafemi Aweda, said the party is not withdrawing its position.
In the merit of our case, and we intend to follow through to the end. We do not have any link or any relation with other parties that have withdrawn, and we are saying this with affirmatively and with all seriousness and of course with all responsibility that we do not have any intention of withdrawing our petition.
Action Alliance AA and Action People's Party APP have withdrawn their petitions from the court. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Eze Ndibo of Ajao Estate in Lagos, Frederick Nkem Dilim Nwajagu, has been arraigned before Justice Yetunde Adesanya of a Lagos High Court sitting in Tafawa Balewa Square for alleged terrorism. Nwajagu is being prosecuted by the Lagos state government on 9-count charges bordering on an attempt to commit acts of terrorism, participate in terrorism, meeting to support a proscribed entity, an attempt to finance an act of terrorism, and preparation to commit an act of terrorism. In the suit, his offences are said to contravene the provisions of Section 403, subsection 2 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015 and Sections 12, subsection C, Section 18, 21, 29 and 12 and subsection A of the Terrorism Prevention and Provision Act 2022, among others. Represented by the Deputy Director in the Ministry of Justice, Jonathan Ogunsanya, the Attorney General of Lagos State, Moyosori Onigbanjo, told the court to allow the defendant to take his plea. The defendant denied the allegation and pleaded not guilty to all counts. Now, subsequently, the judge adjourned the case to July 4th and 5th, 2023 for the trial. And in security, no fewer than 3 internally displaced persons have been killed, with 13 others, among them 8 soldiers, wounded in separate attacks by the fighters of Islamic State West African Province, the ISWAP, in Damboa local government area of Borno State. It was gathered that 4 loggers who lived at Locust Camp had gone out in search of firewood some 7 kilometers away from Damboa when the terrorists opened fire on them, killing 3 persons while others escaped with bullet wounds. A member of the Civilian Joint Task Force told our correspondent that the escapees reported the case to the troops. A security source claimed that troops in another attack killed an unspecified number of ISWAP fighters. At least 12 people, including 8 soldiers, were wounded in the incident, which occurred at Talala enclaves of ISWAP on Tuesday. A security source said that a military helicopter came to Damboa in the early hours to carry the wounded soldiers to Maiduguri for treatment. Also, a member of the vigilante group who participated in the operation said that the ISWAP fighters fired a rocket-propelled grenade in the troops' direction, which resulted in the casualty. Meanwhile, a 25-year-old woman, Rahama Suleiman, has been arrested by the police in Kano for allegedly kidnapping her 6-year-old daughter, Hafsat Kabiru, demanding 3 million naira ransom from her husband. The woman allegedly took her daughter to a relative in Madobi to keep for her and that she would travel for 4 days. Speaking while parading the suspect and other criminals at the Kano Police Command's headquarters, the Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Hussein Gumel, said they received a report from the husband, Kabiru Shehu, that his daughter had been kidnapped. Speaking to newsmen after she was paraded, the suspect said that her ex-husband did not give her money to feed the children for over 10 months. So she decided to do that to get money to take care of his children. She said she regretted her actions and announced that she had reconciled with her husband. The husband, who confirmed that they had reconciled, added that his wife had never done such before. The command also paraded other criminals, including kidnappers and drug dealers, and also recovered over 600 parcels of Indian hemp. Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello has confirmed the killing of one of the commanders of vigilantes by bandits in Mariga local government area of the state. Bello stated this when he received the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 7, Aliyu Garba, on a courtesy visit at the Government House, Mina, the state capital. The governor said that the bandits invaded Kumbashi area in Mariga local government area of the state on Wednesday and engaged security personnel, adding that one of the commanders paid the supreme price with his life.
We cannot tolerate people in the capital city of Mina coming out with daggers and knives and cutlasses in a civilized world, intimidating people, macheting themselves. We must be aggressive. And I've told CP in the past that you must be aggressive. They are armed and you must treat them as being armed. We cannot compromise the safety of our policemen or any security agents. So you have to do whatever within your means to protect and defend yourself. Even if you go to extreme, this is the only way and the only language that will have peace in Minna. Unfortunately, because of the size of the state, we do not have enough boots on the ground.
As we all know, security is everybody's responsibility now. We cannot do it alone. We must synergize together with other security agencies and, of course, seek support from stakeholders, elder statesmen in the states, in order to push some of these lingering problems, logistically and others.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at memories of teenager who confronted suicide bomber. Details on this and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. And here is a recap of our top stories. We brought you aggrieved All Progressive Congress members insist on open contest for 10th National Assembly positions. And ISWAP fighters kill internally displaced persons and others in Borno State. Now moving on to more stories, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has alerted residents of some northern states to prepare for heavy rainfall in the coming days. According to a released issue on Thursday, thunderstorm cells are currently observed over the northern parts of the country, including Borno, Taraba, Gombe, Bauchi, and Kano. These are expected to propagate westward to give equally thunderstorm to some cities. The statement added that the current thunderstorm cells are expected to propagate easterly to give thunderstorms accompanied with squall to cities in Plateau, FCT, Nasarawa, Jigawa, Adamawa, Yobe, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Kaduna, Kano, and Katsina states. NIMET said for areas where thunderstorms are expected, strong winds are likely to precede the rains, and as such, trees, electric poles, unsecured objects, and weak buildings may be felled, and advised the public to be cautious and stay indoors, especially during heavy rainfall, to avoid being struck by lightning. Although Yakubu Fanami passed away on January 25, 2017, while attempting to stop a female suicide bomber from entering a mosque in Aleri, Borno State, his memory lives on. His mother and close acquaintances share their experiences of Yakubu's life and how his bravery actions impacted his community and how his memory continued to inspire hope and resilience in the face of adversity. The report.
6 years after, the pain of losing her only son, who died as a teenager, still lingers for his mother.
My son was a very good boy. One day, he was going to the mosque because he hardly prays in the house. On his way to pray, a congregational morning prayer, the blast engulfed him. I will continue remembering him and praying for him. When Yakubu, my son, was alive, he used to help me a lot even as a student.
Yakubu Fanami was a student in SS1 at Darussalam Islamic Academy in Maiduguri. His director speaks on Yakubu's character and academic performance during his time at the academy.
Late Yakubu Fanami was an average student actually, very jovial and friendly, and very punctual, and always at the forefront of sport activities in the school. He was like a normal child, a happy child.
Then the next day when we came, they told us that Yakubu was late. I was saying, what happened to that boy? They said that day he went around, even the nanny saw him that day moving with my son. So the next day it was very sad for us. That day we could not even teach very well. Students were crying and his face was just coming round. I was just remembering that, but it was a very sad incident, to be sincere.
I was just sleeping when they knocked at our house. They said they are looking for Abdul Jabbar. I just came out. The first thing I saw, the first person was crying. That is in person of Abandos. He was crying. He told me that your friend is gone. I said, what? We just met yesterday, and he said he is not living in Fafaf. He is going to Kaleri, his grandmother's house. I said, what happened? He said, the last night boom, it was Yakub. Then I started crying.
This is the mosque where the incident happened. These two men are witnesses.
Yakubu was one of our very first members that was in charge of maintaining this mosque. When the Boko Haram crisis was very high and the bomb blast was rampant, at exactly 4 a.m., our caller saw one lady close to the mosque, and she was approaching the mosque as fast as she could, and she was behaving very strange. She was the one that carried the bomb, and Yakubu was the first to reach where she was, and the bomb exploded with him. He died at the process. That is how the whole people in the mosque started running sporadically. At that night, the bomber was wearing a red veil. And Malam Yakubu asked me to check the lady that was approaching. So while she was unable to speak, Yakubu tried to chase her. That was when she exploded the bomb. I got injured, but I survived the incident after spending 3 months in the hospital.
Yakubu Fanami represents the power of courage, selflessness, compassion, and the profound impact that one individual can have on a community and the world. For now, his mother has to rely on the positive attributes and qualities of her son as shared by members of his community.
And now from the international scene, Sudan's warring factions early on Friday committed to protect civilians and the movement of humanitarian aid, but did not agree to a ceasefire and remain far apart, U.S. officials said. After a week of talks in the Saudi port of Jeddah, Sudan's army and rival paramilitary rapid support forces signed a declaration that they would work towards a short-term ceasefire. A text of the declaration released after the talks said the two factions commit to prioritizing discussions to achieve a short-term ceasefire to facilitate the delivery of emergency humanitarian assistance and restoration of essential services. A U.S. State Department statement said the parties would focus on reaching a deal for an effective ceasefire of up to about 10 days. The Army and RSF said in their agreement that they will schedule subsequent expanded discussions to achieve a permanent cessation of hostilities. And lastly, in sports, Burkina Faso midfielder Apollinaire Bogma says that the motivation to play at the World Cup will spur the team to victory against Nigeria. Brahima Traore's side are targeting a place at the 2023 FIFA Under-17 World Cup at the expense of their West African rival. The Burkinabes have made it to the Cadet World Cup once in the past. Bogma hinted that they are desperate to compete with the best teams in the world again. He reckoned that coming up against the Eaglets is like a final for his team. Senegal and Morocco have already qualified for the World Cup. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust TV's news update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.